Hey Mustangs, welcome to Real Talk, where we cover the hottest political topics of the week. I'm your host, Erica Newberg. Let's get real. Georgia's new voting law is at the center of political discourse this week. The law imposes new voter identification requirements for absentee ballots. The president says that the new Georgia law ends voting hours early, restricting voting access. It does not make changes to Election Day hours, but mentions expanding voting time. The children of the late Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., Reverend Cordy Tyndall Vivian, and U.S. Representative John Lewis are speaking out against the new Georgia voting laws, saying they target voters of color. Republican leaders claim that the language of the act expands voting access beyond pre-pandemic. The White House is asking for volunteers to help with the growing crisis at the border. Unaccompanied minors continue to arrive in increasing numbers at the southern border as the Biden administration struggles to find space to house them. The Department of Health and Human Services asks federal employees to volunteer for up to 120-day deployments to help with migrant children. Volunteers will be compensated at their current pay rate and could work in migrant centers in Dallas, San Antonio, San Diego, and Fort Bliss. Meanwhile, Senator Ted Cruz calls on Biden to reinstate Trump's border policies after his recent visit to Dallas. Cruz toured the Kay Bailey Hutchinson Center, housing migrant teenage boys in Dallas, before sharing his remarks with reporters. The senator says that currently about 10% of the minors in Dallas have tested positive for COVID-19. Another woman has accused Governor Cuomo of sexual misconduct. Sherry Ville, a resident of Greece, New York, is the latest woman to come forward against the New York governor, alleging Cuomo aggressively kissed her on the cheeks several times and hit her inside her home. So far, 10 women have accused Governor Cuomo of sexual misconduct. The governor continues to deny all allegations and says he will not resign, despite calls to do so from politicians on both sides of the aisle. Chairwoman of the House Progressive Caucus Democratic Senator Pramila Jayapal calls for the end of the Senate filibuster. Jayapal claims that in order to pass President Biden's infrastructure package, the Senate must end the filibuster or overrule the Senate parliamentarian. These comments highlight a point of contention in the Democratic Party between progressives and moderates. Not all Democratic senators are willing to change Senate procedure. Ending the filibuster would eradicate the 60-vote threshold, a move key moderates have said they do not support. Senator Jayapal, however, calls the rules, quote, arcane and racist, end quote, and says they should not stop the Senate from passing Biden's infrastructure package. The Texas Senate has passed 6 bills this week in hopes of increasing the state's abortion laws. Senate Bill 8, also called the Heartbeat Law, would ban abortion once a heartbeat is detected. Current Texas abortion law bans most abortion after 20 weeks. The new bill could move that ban up to as early as 6 weeks after a fetal heartbeat is detected. Senate Bill 9 would outlaw almost all abortions, except in the case of severe medical conditions. If the U.S. Supreme Court were to reverse earlier decisions legalizing it, the bills have yet to be voted on by the Texas House. Texas Democrats call the bills dangerous and extreme, while pro-lifers praise the move. Let's take a break from politics now and get the latest news from the Hilltop.
Hey Mustangs, I'm Hannah Jones, bringing you current issues in the news this Wednesday. As Erica just mentioned, there is concern at the U.S.-Mexico border about the thousands of migrant children who are entering the country without their parents. Many of those will make Dallas their temporary home over the next 3 months. One Border Patrol facility is soaring beyond capacity. The facility in Donna, Texas should house no more than 250 people during the pandemic. Instead, it's holding 4,100 migrants. That's 16 times more than its maximum capacity. And children make up the majority of people in the facility. As more kids show up at the border, officials say they are on track for taking 16,000 unaccompanied minors in March, an all-time monthly high. The trial of the former police officer charged with the death of George Floyd continues after 2 days. Derek Chauvin faces second and third-degree murder charges and second-degree manslaughter. On Wednesday, the prosecution continued to lay out its case against Chauvin, claiming that he had killed Floyd by depriving him of oxygen. Many witnesses have taken the stand, including the teen who videotaped the scene, a store clerk who interacted with Floyd earlier that day, and a firefighter and medical technician on the scene. The suspect who attacked an Asian American woman in New York is behind bars. Caught on surveillance, the man is seen kicking and stomping the woman near Times Square. The attacker, 38-year-old Brandon Elliott, has had a history of crimes, including being arrested for assault, robbery, and previous hate crime charges. Police found Elliott living in a hotel that serves as a homeless shelter a few blocks from the scene of the attack. The victim has been identified as 65-year-old Vilma Kari. She is now out of the hospital, but was treated for severe injuries. After an alarming increase in fentanyl distribution and overdoses in Fort Worth, police are issuing a public safety warning. They are warning residents of a blue M30 oxycodone pill that contains a high amount of fentanyl. The warning states that doctors are not prescribing large amounts of these pills, making it hard for dealers to distribute. Fentanyl is nearly 50 times stronger than heroin and 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. Those are the current issues in the news this Wednesday. I'm Hannah Jones.
Thanks, Hannah. The White House might want to put up a beware of dog sign. The first dog got in a bit of trouble this week after it was involved in a second biting incident. Major, a 3-year-old German Shepherd, injured a National Park Service employee Monday on the South Lawn. The pup has been a part of the Biden family since 2018 and recently underwent training after a biting incident earlier this month when Major injured a Secret Service employee. Representatives of the Biden family say Major is not yet used to his surroundings and is still getting acclimated, while the president describes him as a sweet and protective dog. Major and the Bidens' older German Shepherd, Champ, are now at the family home in Delaware. Looking ahead, SMU announces the reopening of the George W. Bush Presidential Center after a lengthy closure. Students and faculty will finally be able to enter the Bush Center during the soft reopening from April 6th to April 13th using their SMU IDs. The center will officially open to everyone on April 20th, just in time for a new exhibit called Out of Many, One: Portraits of America's Immigrants. Students, faculty, and staff can get free admission by reserving their complimentary ticket. So go check out the exhibit and keep an eye out for future events at the Bush Center. Well, that's all we have for you, Mustangs. Remember, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/SMU Television and follow us on Twitter at SMU-TV. If you have any story ideas, shoot us an email, smutv@smu.edu. Thanks for watching Real Talk this Wednesday. Tune in next week for more political chit-chat and news from the hilltop. Until then, have a great day, keep it real, and pony up.
SMU-TV and the Division of Journalism want to thank our underwriters, North Park Center in Dallas, Javier's Gourmet Mexicano on Cole Avenue, and Advance ER off West Lovers Lane. We appreciate your support of student media.